Hello, my buffalo. PikaFan003 here. And this one's not a reaction video, actually. So, I don't really need the headband, but I'll keep it on just for channel sakes. This is a video on, if you couldn't read the title, on how I became a brony. Now, this is a question that a lot of bronies I've seen now explain. Like, I've seen Ratchetness explain, I think I've seen Saberspark explain. I know there are a lot of other bronies on YouTube who've explained how they turned brony. But this one's my story. I had first gotten into My Little Pony around late Season 1. And I am actually one of the proud bronies to say that they were self-introduced. 'Cause none of my friends that I knew watched the show, and if they did, they wouldn't suggest it to me. I was down at my dad's. My parents are divorced, have been since I was in 2nd grade. And my dad's got Mediacom cable service. So, on demand, I was searching through the channels one day. Now, if I can't find really anything to watch on any of the more common kids' channels, I'd go watch some of the cartoons that they had on Discovery Kids, back when that was still a channel. But to discover that Discovery Kids was gone, and that this new thing called The Hub was on there. Now, I looked in the What's New, because there wasn't really any. I think there were like 4 categories at that time during that channel. But I looked under What's New, and something caught my eye. It doesn't give the whole title, but it said Pony and Fall. I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. I watched it. To my surprise, it was a show about ponies. And strictly ponies, save for Spike, who was in that episode. Spike was the only exception to the vast majority ponies. So, now, Fall being the episode Fall Weather Friends. The episode where the Apple Dash episode. Let's go with that, the Apple Dash episode. I don't support any of that shipping. But anyway, Applejack and Rainbow Dash have a friendly competition to see who's the better mare. I watched their little shenanigans with the competitions on the farm at Sweet Apple Acres, the horseshoe toss, the bell ringing, or strong mare competition, I guess, tug of war, which in my opinion, Rainbow Dash did cheat at. But then it got to the race where things got interesting. They became so obsessed with trying to one-up each other that they weren't focusing on the race, which is what the Running of the Leaves is about. Now, when it came to the end of the episode, I was like, okay, that's actually a pretty good lesson there. And so I decided to watch some more episodes. So the second episode I watched was Feeling Pinky Keen. The episode where Twilight was wanting to study Pinkie Pie and try to learn about her pinky sense. And there's no real explanation to it. It's just like Spider-Man's Spidey sense, which is what I've learned from it. But if you can't explain something and yet it happens, just believe in it. That's the message I got from it. And then I don't quite remember the third episode I had watched. I can't remember if it was Green Isn't Your Color or Suited for Success, but after I'd watched those 3 episodes, I was hooked. I was legitimate hooked. And then it wasn't until like a few weeks after I'd seen those episodes that I'd found out that there was an entire group of people who watched the show, gave it its own fandom name, the bronies. So I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Though the first ever thing of Friendship is Magic I've seen was on Newgrounds. And no, it wasn't R34. I don't search that. Like I've said in the Somber Year fanfic, I am a hardcore anti-clopper. So, what I watched was Friendship is Magic, bitch. And it was hilarious. I didn't actually understand it, because I didn't know anything about My Little Pony at that time. So, going back to my original topic, I found out that I'd become a brony once I discovered the fandom. And just progressing through the fandom, just seeing all the different artworks, all the different fan animations, all the different songs, it was just really an overwhelming experience to see that there were so many people who like the show that aren't around its primal age group / gender. But it's just an amazing show. I really love the story, the art, all the fun that they have. I'm looking forward to season 5. And if you're wondering, yes, I will be reacting to the season 5 premiere. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I know I did say my next video reaction was going to be to the Lullaby for a Princess animation, but I read up on his updates on his DeviantArt, and he said he's shooting for April, and that's gonna be quite a ways out. But another topic, when did I get my ranks for favorites? Now, originally, I had Fluttershy and then Rainbow Dash for my main 6 favorites. In fact, there was one point where Fluttershy was my main favorite. And that was before I had found Derpy. Now, Fluttershy had been my favorite for a while because I've always had a thing for the bashful, secluded characters in a show. Mostly because I can relate to that. I have grown up socially secluded from the world. So I get Fluttershy's problems. Well, not so much problems, it's part of her name. But other than that, other bashful characters I've really liked ever since I was little. Winnie the Pooh, my favorite was Piglet. Naruto, my favorite and still now favorite, Hinata. But it wasn't until I found the hype for Derpy. Now, when I was still living down at my dad's, I had found the episode, on demand, the episode, last roundup. And I had known about Derpy before that episode, but it got to that episode and her lines, I nearly flipped tables in sheer joy that she was given lines. She was acknowledged as Derpy. Because, as we all remember in the episode Winter Wrap-Up, she was first conceived as Ditsy Doo. But when it came to the episode Last Roundup, Hasbro, it made me then realize that Hasbro knows the fandom and took Derpy, the fandom given name to her, and used it in an actual episode. Now, it wasn't until shortly after that I had found all these YouTube videos about Save Derpy. And so I watched the little Save Derpy animation. And my original thoughts on it were it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. I did cry from that video. It was that sad. Now, I'm not one to just go ahead and all up bawl because someone else is sad. But that video just plucked at my heartstrings. Not Lyra heartstrings, no. Not that fandom reference, no. But it was beautifully animated. It had a wonderful voice playing Derpy. It was just sad. It had the Dead Island trailer music playing. You know, that violin and piano playing. It was just overwhelmingly sad. And then shortly after, I'd found out that they had actually censored Derpy. And that's where all the Save Derpy came from. I was like, no! Why? And then I found videos on why they censored her. Now, I've really only seen one video on an explanation, and it was a good explanation about the character designer and about her having a son who is mentally challenged. And when she looked up the definition of Derpy, she had found one of the definitions was retarded. But no, that's not what Derpy means. When you derp, it is not fully mental. You can be the smartest person in the world, and you can derp. Derp is physical. Derp is mental, but it's not fully mental. Now, once I'd found all the respect that Derpy was given, because of all the support that was given to her, I decided she is my favorite. Because she is beautiful, she is funny, she is pretty much just the perfect pony. Even though she was an error. That's right. And something else I noticed about my dog tags. Now, I don't know if Hasbro themselves officially make them, but, well, I know they had to design the dog tags, but I'm going to give you a nice little close-up view of Derpies. You see her eye there? You see that little odd shape right in there? That little odd shape that doesn't look like it goes with the coloring of her eye? I had recently discovered that little shape is an hourglass, meaning that Hasbro recognizes the shipping between Derpy and the Doctor. Now, I did find that funny at first, but it's a fandom thing. Hasbro recognizes it. They don't put it in show because as of season 4, they had officially given Doctor Who's shipping with Rose Luck. Because, as we all know, Doctor Who's in My Little Pony is supposed to be the 10th Doctor. And his main companion was Rose. Rose Tyler. So that gave birth to the Doctor Who's and Rose Luck. Now, one of my Whovian friends, who is also a brony, she calls herself a brony, but hey, that's fine. We're all supposed to love and tolerate in this fandom. She gave me the idea that the Doctor and Rose were trapped in an alternate dimension, yes? And I was like, oh, okay, I know where you're going with this. That's funny, yes. But, I mean, you know, it could make sense. A mortal Doctor with Rose, alternate universe. Excuse me. It's pretty funny in my book. Once I finally decided to start accepting my broniness, going back to my original topic, I had started making some brony friends. In fact, one of my friends I know I had fully converted into bronyhood. Yes, he joined the herd. And the other friend, I don't know if I'd fully converted her, but I guess that's just something I'll have to ask. But I guess I'd fully told you how I became a brony. I also explained my favorites. Yeah, this video was recorded shortly after the last one, so who you just heard was Moose. Anyway, with that, I've told you my brony story. I've told you why favorites and why Derpy. So I don't think there's really much other topic to choose from. I told you how I became a brony. Again, I told you my favorites. Yes, I know I'm saying that a lot, but you know, just I'm going over it in my head, trying to think of something else to say, and nothing's really coming. So be prepared for more reactions in the future. This has been PikaFan003, and I'll see y'all in the next one. This is PikaFan003 signing off. Keep it Buffalo, my Buffalo.